Hello, Artful Manifestors. Thank you for joining me for this timeless pick a card tarot reading. Whenever you come across this reading is when you're meant to hear it. And to choose your reading, you're going to choose from one of these crystals I'm going to introduce or one of the cards I'm going to reveal. And then you'll go to the description box below where you'll find a timestamp of all of the readings. All right, so reading number 1. We have Bumblebee, Jasper. And reading number 2, we have Black Obsidian. And reading number 3, we have Unakite. All right, let's look at the cards. For reading number 1, this is the image. And for reading number 2, this is the image. And for reading number 3, this is the image. All right, whichever crystal or card you're most drawn to is most likely the reading meant for you. Of course, if you're drawn to more than one or even all 3, you're always welcome to listen to more as there may be additional messages for you there. Enjoy your reading. Hello, reading number 1. You chose Bumblebee Jasper. This stone is a solar talisman. It awakens courage, confidence, and the zest for life. It's connected to your solar plexus and sacral chakra, activating personal power. It helps you own your desires, take up space, and move boldly toward purpose. Bumblebee Jasper holds volcanic energy, helping you to break through fear and stagnation. It erupts stuck patterns, clears apathy, and defies the inner critic. It inspires risk-taking and sparks movement, especially when someone is on the threshold of change but paralyzed by doubt. It boosts creative flow and manifestation. It carries both the joy of nectar and the fire of the volcano, a beautiful paradox of sweetness and charge. And the card that you chose, Sacred Boundaries, is Tiger Balm. And it's interesting because sacred boundaries, tigers definitely have boundaries that are respected by others, and so do bees. The difference being that bees, even bumblebees that we think of as solitary bees, will still live close to other bees, where tigers will have their own territory. So there's a message there about that balance, not completely isolating, that you're setting your boundaries with others doesn't mean isolating yourself. And I'm hearing the words, they crossed the line. So maybe that's something you said or something somebody said to you. Somebody crossed a line. the lion, sorry, not lion, tiger, the tiger has its own territory and will keep a territory separate from other tigers so that they have enough food to eat. And they will make sure they're close to a water source. And it's this duality of boundaries. It's sometimes it burns to clarify, other times it cools to calm type of duality, just like Tiger Balm, the healing salve. The tiger's presence in the wild is like your energetic sovereignty, demanding respect without words. Maybe you've been giving too much, too freely, and it's time to reclaim your power and apply it like balm to your soul. Sacred boundaries are how healers stay whole. And just like the tiger defends its territory without apology, the card invites you to speak your no as a sacred act, not out of anger, but to protect your softness. And there's also a message of having boundaries with yourself. What are you putting into your body, your temple? What are you consuming? What do you allow your mind to consume in media, in movies, shows, gossip? So the boundaries that you have with yourself, how well are you caring for your body and your mind? All right, let's get some more information about your sacred boundaries and how you can best honor them. Temperance, of course, moderation. Of course, temperance would come up when we're talking about boundaries. 8 of coins. And the High Priestess. Temperance is the alchemy of balance. You're invited to treat yourself as sacred space, not a project to fix or push, but a temple to tend and maintain, keep. Create rhythms, not rules. Respect your own cycles. Excuse me, the tiger goes to the river to drink when she's thirsty, not because it's a certain time of the day. Excuse me. So, recognizing what your body's telling you and honoring those cycles, drinking when you're thirsty, resting when you're tired, and speaking with gentleness to yourself rather than judgment. set spiritual and physical rituals. So it could be, maybe it's silence in the morning. Maybe it's putting your favorite song on in the morning, something that's right for you. Maybe it's not looking at your phone before you fall asleep or first thing in the morning. And making sure that you're nourished before you begin to help others. And choose moderation and balance over restriction. Be your own guardian. Temperance is also about combining things. You see, all of these hands are doing different things at the same time. This isn't the same as multitasking, though. This is creating those rituals that help you feel productive, but also nourished at the same time. So maybe it's listening to your favorite music while you do the laundry. And maybe you're even dancing as you put the clothes away. Maybe it's listening to your favorite podcast as you travel to your destinations. Definitely combining things to help you achieve all your nourishment amongst all of your duties that have to get done. While honoring your rhythms and cycles, being flexible. With the Eight of Pentacles, I see somebody here suffering for their work or suffering for service to others. Look at the frustrated expression on her face and look at the red hands and feet, like she's working with thorns in order to create money. She's suffering in order to create her resources. This card speaks to devoted practice and repetition, mastery through repetition. You see how many of these sculptures, these thorny bind sculptures of pentacles that she's made. You don't need to over-explain or prove your boundaries. You simply live them. What I see with this card is that these boundaries or lack of boundaries are hurting you. You're getting poked by the thorns of them. Boundaries are an art form. The more you hold them, the more natural and embodied they become. You simply live them calmly, consistently. So you can softly enforce your boundaries with others by clear, direct, and kind, no apology needed explanations or responses. I'm not available for that today. when you explain why you're not available for that today, it disempowers you. And remember, the Bumblebee, Jasper, connected to the solar plexus and the sacral chakra, is empowering you. It's confidence. So the tiger doesn't explain, right? Just, I'm not available for that today. And let your daily habits reflect your worth, not your words alone. Actions speak louder than words. And don't waver for comfort. Let repetition weave your sovereignty into the world. Your energy is sacred labor. You choose where and how it flows. And the high priestess is powerful. By honoring yourself and enforcing your truth with grace, you open the temple of deep intuition, mystery, and spiritual power. When you honor your sacred boundaries and your energy, you tap into a deeper knowing. The high priestess doesn't hustle for peace. She is the peace. Others feel it when they're near you, or they will soon. You listen beneath the words, and you can wait without fear. This path of honoring your boundaries, your energy, your space, your time, your body, all of that leads you to your fullest inner authority. Again, it's the solar plexus and sacral chakra. Confidence, power, manifestation. This leads to a life attuned to your soul's rhythm, not others' expectations. And when I say others' expectations, it's not just the people that you work with or the people that you live with. It's the voices in your head that you collected along the way that aren't your soul's voice. Honoring your sacred boundaries can give you the ability to perceive clearly beyond confusion, beyond noise. It leads to deeper psychic insight and creative clarity and alignment with your sacred work, the work that comes through you, not just from you. When you hold sacred space within yourself, the mystery reveals itself to you. And your boundaries are acts of devotion to the life you're meant to live, to the wisdom you carry, to the peace you are claiming. You don't need to force them. You only need to embody them. Wow. Reading number 1. It doesn't have to be hard work. You don't have to suffer. You can be at peace by honoring your boundaries softly. Unapologetically doesn't mean rude. It just means I'm not available for that today, without explanation, without I'm sorry, I wish I could, but you hear how much less power is in that phrase than I'm not available for that today. You're increasing your power so that you can artfully manifest the life that you desire. Reading number 1. Please let me know how this resonates. I love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 2. You chose Just Trust, and I believe that in the intro I said just friends. I think I did. Somebody needs to hear that. Just friends. That's a message for someone I'm channeling, so sometimes things pop out of my mouth. Just trust. It's pretty simple. It's a mole which don't have the best eyesight, and they're digging around in the dark, yet somehow they're able to find the path clearly. And it's all about this trusting the deeper rhythms beneath the surface. If you hear a noise in the background, that is Cora. You don't need to see the whole path to know that you're on the right one. So trusting the unseen, trusting your instincts, trusting things are going to go work out, trusting that what is forming in the dark will soon emerge. This might be a liminal space between clarity and outcome. Doubt or fear may have crept in due to the lack of evidence that this thing is going to happen or appear or emerge. You might be questioning if you're doing it right or if it's even working. There is patience required and trust. Just as if when you plant a seed in the ground, we have to trust that it's going to sprout, and we have to patiently wait for it to grow to that point that it bears fruit. I apologize for all of my throat clearing today. I've been doing house repairs and whatnot, so lots of dust. And also trusting your senses. Remember, the mole doesn't have great insight, so it has to rely on the other senses. So that gut feeling, for example, the wisdom of your body and your energy, your nervous system, what it's telling you. So just trust. And black obsidian is a truth revealer, a shadow mirror. It reflects the truth without distortion and can reveal hidden wounds, patterns, illusions. And it's many times a stone used for cord cutting. So I'm thinking that what the cards want to reveal to us is what is keeping you from trusting, and how can you cut the cords to that pattern or belief, that wound. So let's get some tarot cards and find out. The Chariot, forward movement. I like that. Three of Swords. Queen of Wands. All right, with the chariot, I'm seeing two things. One, as I mentioned already, forward movement. So if you're worried that something isn't happening or it's not happening fast enough, it is happening. Your guides want you to know that it is happening. Now, the wound belief pattern, the shadow of the chariot, we see these fish that are swimming against the waves, against the current. There's a belief that things don't get done unless you take the reins and make them happen. It's the shadow reveals a need to control the direction, the pace, and outcome of life. So this is often rooted in a survival-based belief that only effort, striving, or domination leads to safety or success. And there may be an unconscious fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart, or that surrender equals weakness. So the thought pattern might be, if I don't hold these reins, I will lose everything. And perhaps the original wound was a time when your willpower was the only thing that protected you. And so you learned to move forward against the current because no one else was steering. And that independence became your armor. But now the chariot's inviting you to ask, what if your soul doesn't want to push anymore? What if the flow is stronger than the force? Where will the current take you? And it's interesting that we're talking about, cutting cords. And we see this sword here cutting some of these feathers away. We see a shadow here. We see the lightning, like an aha moment. And look at these two dots on the forehead. They almost look like false eyes, like a distorted view, not seeing things the way they are, and her real eyes are closed. The Three of Swords calls you into the heart space, not the head. So this isn't about a mental technique. It's about letting yourself feel that wound of the times when life didn't hold you, when control felt like your only option, and when surrender equaled abandonment or harm. So to cut the cords, you must witness them first. The parts of you that had to be hypervigilant, and the illusion that self-worth must be proven through performance. So you might, write a letter to your younger self, the one who had to take the reins, and tell him or her that they don't have to drive anymore. And you can burn the letter, scatter the ashes, or put it in soil or water, let the earth or flow carry it away. Release the need to earn safety. Release the story that force is the only way. And bless that version of you that carried too much and call that power home. So you're not cutting the cords to your younger self. You're cutting the cords to the belief that you have to control everything, that you have to go against the current. So that you can open up a heart space to trust. The Queen of Wands trusts her fire. She trusts her timing. She doesn't chase. She doesn't prove or hustle. She simply is magnetic, radiant, rooted in deep self-knowing. She trusts because everything is clear, or not clear, sorry. She doesn't trust because everything is clear, but because she knows who she is, even in the dark. So you can embody the trust that the mole has by letting your magic simmer, right? Unseen. You don't have to let others know about it. Trust that even in stillness, you're gathering potency. They're showing me wine or cheese that as it sits there and it seems like nothing's happening, you've already done all the work of squashing grapes and putting it into the barrel or cooking the cream and straining it, rolling it for the cheese and putting that somewhere to age. It seems like nothing's happening, but you wouldn't have those fine wines and cheeses if you didn't give them that still time to age, there's a word, it'll come to me. If you know the word, put it in the comments. But honor your inner flame. And, trust in that stillness so that you can gather that potency. Speak to protect it. Let it guide you even when the path ahead isn't lit. Surrender yourself with beauty and power that affirms your being. Wear what makes you feel like a living flame. Passion, creativity, power. She's trusting everything's going to work out. This takes a lot more energy. And it's interesting because in this picture, he actually isn't holding on to the reins. So it's like thinking that you're in control, but you're going against the current because the universe is trying to show you there's a better way, trying to nudge you to loosen the reins a bit. And here you are embodying that trust, but somehow have more control. It's this paradox of letting go and surrendering and trusting and reaching your destination with maybe faster, definitely with less collateral damage and more peace and enjoyment, and using less energy this way. Look at all the efforting in this image, and he's not smiling, and here she's smiling. Love it. You're not here to prove, you're here to glow. Trust in your timing. Trust the path you can't see. Trust your fire will never go out. Reading number 2. Please let me know how this resonates. I love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 3. You chose the card Unknown Gift with the Nightingale of Paradise. This card is a shimmering portal to the mysteries within you that you have not yet bloomed. There are dormant treasures within you, intuitive abilities, healing frequencies, creative powers, or soul callings that are ready to awaken. But maybe you just haven't recognized them yet. They've always been yours, and they're ready to emerge. And Unakite is it's a stone of heart healing, soul integration, grounded growth. It's a blend of epidote. That's what I was trying to remember. The green part is epidote, and the pink part is feldspar, merging the earthy and the emotional, the rooted and the tender. It is a stone of becoming through allowing rather than force. It brings soft, steady heart healing, heart integration, and it allows it to gently surface rather than a flood of pain all at once. It's often associated with recovery, whether from emotional trauma, illness, or a difficult life chapter. Unakite is a stone of patient renewal, and it reminds you that true transformation happens in rhythm with nature, organically. It supports healing after loss, a major life change. It encourages self-compassion during growth or spiritual awakening. It roots your spiritual growth into your body, into the earth. It's an ideal companion for integration, for anchoring mystical insights into daily life. It has grounded spirituality in it, enhancing meditation, visualization without disconnection, connects the third eye and the heart chakra with the root chakra. And the soft pink of feldspar connects with innocence, while the green of epidote nurtures it. So it's often used in work around reparenting the inner child, emotional safety and belonging. And it helps the release of emotional patterns. Epidote's influence helps release negative thought loops, especially those tied to emotional sabotage, jealousy, fear of being vulnerable. And it doesn't banish our shadows, it re-educates them, inviting outdated stories to soften, uncoil, and dissolve. So let's find out more about what this unknown gift is that you've yet to tap into, realize, utilize. Oh. All right, we have the Emperor. The Moon. Yes. And Death. All right. Wow, these are all major arcana cards, and I feel this message is a message that came through before, maybe a few weeks ago. If you chose that card and you got that message and you're getting this message again, please let me know. This is definitely a nudge from Spirit. What I see just immediately from the Emperor, the Moon, and Death in asking this question is that what's been suppressing or covering or hiding your gift is some traditional belief, dogma, structure that you inherited that was never yours. It was from your family, your community, your culture, society. And it's like that belief system that wasn't yours acted like an armor that protected you from your own gift of insight and intuition. And then I see here the Death card, and I see somebody who could be a medium, channel for others. So I know that's a very specific message, but if you've received it before, this is another gentle nudge from Spirit letting you know that that is a gift of yours to communicate with the dead. All right. The Emperor speaks of control, rigidity over responsibility, or self-construction that was built for survival. So you might be healing old patriarchal patterns of power in others and in yourself. the need to have all the answers or to protect others at the cost of your own energy. The inner structures that once kept you safe but now confine you. This isn't just releasing the external masculine, it's the inherited belief that safety equals control, and that love equals performance, and that worth equals structure. You're not required to hold the whole world together. It's safe to be soft, to be scared, to surrender. It's sacred to surrender. This is the deconstruction of the false sovereign so that the divine sovereign can rise. So it's all of those supposed to's. I'm supposed to be this way. I'm not supposed to be that way. That's falling away now. That's what you're healing, and you have been healing, or you're revealing as a false construct that's not really who you are. It's something you inherited. And as you continue to clear that away, what emerges is the gift of deep intuition, psychic sensitivity, dream wisdom, lunar magic. The moon isn't an easy gift. It's the kind that whispers rather than shouts, but it is your oldest knowing, your awakening, heightened intuitive perception, deep connection to the unconscious, to your ancestors, to the mystical, your awakening and ability to guide others through their own shadowlands with your presence. This is the part of you that knows without knowing how you know, that hears what is unsaid, and that walks beside the veil. You're the midwife of the unseen. Your presence is the lantern in the dark, just like the moon is. And the gift of the moon will be used to help transform. I see you serving as a guide for others in transition. Now, this could be with literal death, but it could also be through thresholds of identity, becoming, changes. And we talked about that with the Unakite, right? Life changes. It could be a breakup. It could be switching jobs, roles. You're helping people to move through that transformation, that change. So you'll do this around liminal states, spaces, spiritual portals. Maybe your writing or creative work will carry codes of permission and rebirth. Songs, things that you post, your media, your content that you create, all of which act as catalyst for soul transformation. Some of it may be direct, one-on-one. It could be a class that you teach. It could be something that the world has access to through the internet. So this death card doesn't mean an ending for you. It means alchemical surface. So I know I used this term before, but you're becoming a death doula of the soul, a time weaver, a keeper of the threshold, serving the mystery by honoring what must fall away and making beauty out of the bones of old stories. This is so, so powerful. Look at these cards, all major arcana. You're releasing the old scaffolding of control, protection, and leadership based on duty, supposed to's, shoulds. And you're reclaiming your intuitive, liminal, psychic nature as a guide between worlds. You see how she's standing on a bridge between two worlds. And even here, this death card, she's pulling back the veil. Huge medium channeling message here. Reading number 3, please let me know how this resonates. Let me know if you saw the other reading about being a death doula or a medium, speaking with the dead. So powerful. I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye.